Things are moving.
Things are moving. We've had coffee and cookies. Yeah, today we're going to be boxing. And I'm going to be using the 12-inch box today. And I still haven't watched the first video where I clearly showed that I wasn't an internet expert on the 10-inch box. And I also haven't seen any of your guys' opinions on my long rambly videos yet. So I'm still unhindered. I'm only hindered by my own thoughts. Oh, that's way too much mud in there. Darn it. Because we got to get this thinned down a lot for boxing. But I don't think I'm going to be able to. It's lots of water. Not like Corner's amount of water, but I hate putting my foot on the bucket, but I don't want any mud on my pants. That's not bad. That's pretty loose. I'm gonna go with that. That looks pretty good. The stuff below was so wet that it's kind of mixed in now. Should be good. And I kept the pump in a mud bag over the weekend. And we'll clean it up a little. Does it need it? Yeah. I like to keep my tools as clean as possible, given the nature of the work. This doesn't matter too much, but if there's crumbs, we'll get it off of there. I just splattered myself on the face. Okay. Good. We're off to a good start here. Okay, unlike last time, I'm gonna try not to overthink this. I'm just gonna run these things and let them do what they're gonna do. I think that was the problem last time, was that instead of just running the boxes and letting them be what they are and actually getting the efficiency out of the tool, I was like too busy wondering why it wasn't perfect. And I think some of that is just, as somebody who's primarily done all their coding by hand, when it doesn't look the same as what I'm used to, I think there must be something wrong. We're gonna go on 3. So I'll admit I gave these a quick test run yesterday on a ceiling upstairs. So I'm not going into this totally blind. I coated my corners this morning, so I can't go right into the corner. Oh, we're off to a great start again. That's not bad. That's bad, but that's not bad. See if we can clean it up. It was harder to see on that side. I'm gonna go with that. It's not that bad. There's something crazy going on with this ceiling right here too. That's like a majorly low joist. Can you guys see that? It's just a screw, right? So that's why it's so pocky right here. So I'm gonna let that dry and fill that in by hand. And that way, like, I'm just gonna let it be what it is and tune it up. Because the mistake I really think that I made was in trying to get it perfect. And because of my quest for perfection on a tool that I haven't mastered, I wasn't getting any of the benefits out of it. Like, whereas I could just do that and be happy with it. Because that looks great. Yep, beautiful. Walls now. Let's do walls. Should have just let it be. Okay, let me know in the comments why it's dripping out the sides. I think it's because probably I'm moving too slow. I don't just push it onto the wall and get moving. Oh, that's full. Oops. That was unnecessary. Bet my mud could be even thinner. What should we talk about today, Nick? You were uncaffeinated in the first video. I think we should make this mud looser. I can't get the optimal. The ceiling is like too low. It's like too low for me to get under this thing. That was not that bad. It's obviously really, there's something going on there. So I'm gonna leave that. I feel like, I wouldn't go so far as to say this tool just got easier, but I feel like I might be getting a slight feeling for it. There we go. That looks good. If I could get them all to look like that, that'd be pretty cool. Good enough? Yeah, that's nice. That beats finishing by hand any day. Yeah, I like these. I'm warming up to this. Leave it. Are we out? Yeah. I'll admit this is way faster than I can coat by hand. All right, let's get back to this one. Yep, I like it. I like it. I am going to start finding every reason to bring these on site. A little bit we missed there. No biggie. Okay, good enough. I do still think my mud could probably be a little bit, it could probably be a little thinner. I'm probably working harder than I need to. Oops, held the brake on that one. All right, so here's the brake. It's this thing down here. And when you let go, and in my first time using these, after not using them in a long time, I pinched my hands so many times. And it's kind of misleading because the handle is like right up here. So if you have your hand on the handle, it was bad. Like they were bleeding and sore. So I have learned from that mistake. I always have my hand either like this, hand on the brake, and I don't put my hand up here, down here. That was a painful lesson. Anyways, I think we could get some of this mud back in the box. Maybe that's a mistake, we'll find out. But that's a lot puking out there that could be coating a seam. Such a cool instrument, like that somebody thought of this. It's got this little brass, what they call a brass shoe here, with a little carbide blade in there. And it's amazing that just pressure and pushing this thing across that blade can leave such a perfect joint. Like, it's crazy talk.
It's the mud Zamboni.
The mud Zamboni. Yeah, it's a good one. That's a good one. I feel like I did that one by hand last time, but I don't want to today. Although it's not wide. The box isn't wide enough, really. Sure it is. That's good enough for a closet. Honestly, that's faster than hand. Even the little ones, even though I'll have to come in and tune them up. We'll show that in a bit. Crud on the wall. Do we have any more in here? No, we're done. That's nice and fast, and I'm slow with this thing. I'm gonna do even the ones I did by hand with this thing this time. It's nice to feel like I'm kind of coming around a learning curve with this thing. That's ugly. I was messing around with the brake by accident. I know, just figured out that I could be making this a lot easier by not flipping it over every time. That one's not worth it. But for example, instead of doing this every time, I could run around the room in one direction and then flip it over once. That would have been much faster. This is the one I did last night. This one has not been done. I think I did this one by hand. I really prefer these all of a sudden instantly. I would say it's slightly harder work in a way. Like, it's easier. I think I did this one last night. Yeah, I did that one. Did I do all the walls in here? I can't tell, we need light. Yeah, I did these ones last night. That was my test run so that I didn't come into this so cold. Okay, let's tune them, let's tie them in now. Okay, we are done with this. This is a kind of a fun tool. I do think I could have had the mud looser. Would have been easier. And then I just use slip joint pliers. It's faster and easier than anything else. And it can go in here until I have the time and energy to take it home and spray it out. All right, let's show how we tie these in. And I think let's have a little rant about Gen Z. Just a little bitty one. So tying them in is no big deal. This one, because it was done by hand, is too wide. This is what you guys want to see, right? We got the wet mud and the wet mud. And honestly, it's pretty simple. This one's not really wet anymore, so we can feather onto that. And this one's almost too wet, but that's the general idea though, right? You're just bridging the gap. It's a closet. I could probably not even do this and nobody would know or care. But we're here. Got the mud. And it's the right thing to do, huh? That whole, can you even see that corner? Probably not. That whole corner didn't get filled in properly when I used the corner tool. So right here, this is definitely slower than if I did this little one here by hand. That was the one that just did not work. I think it's interesting because using these almost like it stops you from even needing to use bigger knives until you get the corner bead. Like you can basically use the machines plus a 6-inch knife. That could be a little prettier. Oh well, it'll sand out. It's all right. In all honesty, I don't mind just spending less time on the trowel. This is what happens when you don't check for crumbs and crusties first. But I've spent so many years on the trowel that just doing something different is nice. You know that saying, a change is as good as a break. It's definitely easy once it's kicked off a little. Wow, this corner did not get filled in. I think this was the first one I ran, so this is all I do to fix that. So that's why I was like, it's easier at this stage to just side swipe. Fill this stuff in when it's like either dry or half wet, like right now. So I do a lot of work with this whenever I bring the tools in. Unfeathered edge. This is not that nice. So I often just do that. You know, I look like using the machines these aren't even the fancy machines, but using the corner tools and the boxes has taught me to do the bulk of the work. And then I just run around and I take care of the little stuff. And just, you know, running around and doing a quick side swipe on everything is light work. I don't mind at all. I said I was going to talk about Gen Z, but I feel like we're too late in this video to get into a topic. Oh, I never coated this. Well, better late than never. This is probably going to be behind kitchen cabinets, is it not, Nick?
Correct.
Yeah, so I mean, I could literally leave this, but don't you hate when you're doing a job, especially, you know, like you're ripping out crown molding or something, and somebody decided to skip taping the corners. So if you're working behind me, that won't happen to you. I don't do that, right? I do the little bit of work, because to me, taping corners is not a big job. Skipping the corners is a big job for someone else. For me, you know, like if you look at that wall where all the cabinets are gonna go, I've coated all the screws. I've even coated them 3 times like everywhere else, even though they'll be behind cabinets. Sure, didn't have to, but it's one of those things. It's like you come in, even for the contractor's sake, like, you know, they paint the job and everything looks good. The homeowner's not like, why does that wall look stupid? What's wrong with that wall? Oh, it's getting covered. Okay, I get it, but like, why are you shortchanging me? So I really think it's, we'll move that light somewhere better. Oh, that's a hefty one. Can we fix it with the 6? Oh, yes, we can. I could coat a butt joint with a 6-inch knife if I had to. You just kind of have to know. It's just more sanding, that's all. I'm going to say a tiny bit about Gen Z, just a teensy bit. So I'm the father of 2 Gen Z and 2 Gen Alpha. Well, my poor tween is neither, just like me. I'm neither a millennial nor am I a Gen Xer. 1981, it's the cutoff. I am without a generational home. I'm neither. What's the stereotype for Gen Xers? I heard that they're like lazy and lack ambition or something. But then we have all these successful Gen Xers, so that's BS. And there's plenty of successful millennials too. Oh, slackers. That was the word. You know why? You know why it was slackers? Because a slacker, that term is actually for somebody who wouldn't go to war. So the Gen Xers weren't even necessarily raised by boomers. Like my generation is kind of the ones that were raised by boomers. So, and the boomers, for the most part, other than some, you know, they didn't have one of those huge generational wars. So I think the term slacker became less derogatory. But the Gen Xers, oh yeah, by all their, you know, parents who were maybe in the Korean War or the Vietnam War, yeah, their parents called them slackers. And the millennials, well, we just got participation trophies for nothing. But the Gen Z, all I'm going to say about them is I think like half of them are probably going to be, maybe less, but a lot of them are going to be amazing. And then the rest of them are going to be the most catastrophically screwed up generation we've ever seen, next to probably Gen Alpha. I think basically like the people who are totally screwed are just going to like keep getting worse. And then the people who are like on another level and doing well are going to continue to get better. And we're going to watch this like this split amongst people, even more so than it already is. It'll be crazy. And we're here to watch it. Anyways, that was a total rant about nothing. Good thing I only started that at the end instead of doing it the whole way through, huh? Although probably watching all this get done was pretty boring. But I felt good about that. Yeah, I'm going to keep using the boxes. I've obviously had chocolate and coffee. And I hope you guys are doing really well. Till the next one.